My name is Peter Nguyen, or like every teacher and every first day of school I've ever had, you can call me Peter Nguyen. My parents are boat people, refugees from Vietnam. I am the first person on either side of my family to be born on American soil. My name is Peter Trinh. I am a Denver-based actor, writer, and stand-up comedian. Boat Person is my parents' immigration story. In the late 70s, after the Vietnam War, many Vietnamese escaped communism by jumping on these fishing boats and trying to escape to America, and that's what my play is about. I believe that this country was built on the idea that all people have the birth-given right to live freely. Guess what? There are plenty of places in this world where freedom is just not an option. Boat people was the media used that term in the late 70s to label us. Of the 48 million homeland Vietnamese, 231,000 would escape communist containment and make it to the United States in the 1980s. My parents were two of those people. They were both raised in very poor countryside villages in Vietnam. It's so deep in the mountains that they didn't really see war. Saigon fell in 75 and they escaped in 81. Essentially, they were about 26 years old. They had just been married. My parents gathered the clothes on their backs and a couple satchels of stuff. It's like the dead of night, everybody climbed into this small fishing boat. The fishing boat was essentially rigged with a Jeep motor. When they got to the coast, just before they got into the Pacific, that's when the Coast Guards opened fire on them. And they made it out, no casualties. After about 3 days, their engine failed, and they were essentially just lost at sea. The 7th day at sea, they finally saw the USS Shasta, which was a huge US naval ship. The idea was, if you saw Americans, you were good as gold. You're saved, and that was the kind of feeling on the boat. Everybody was celebrating, just overjoyed. The naval ship brought them on board. My father actually was the only person who spoke English enough to communicate with the captain on the ship. On that deck, he remembers eating an apple for the first time in his entire life. And he says that was the taste of freedom for him, eating an apple for the first time ever at 26, 27 years old. So they were taken to a refugee camp in Singapore, and then in March of '82, my uncle's aunt's sister lived in Denver, and she sponsored everybody. A month after they arrived to Denver, my mom found out she was pregnant with me. And I came in November of that year. And then a month later, after I was born, the blizzard of '82 hit, which was about 3.5 to 4 feet of snow. And my parents recall lying in their bed in a brand new country, holding their firstborn son, seeing snow for the first time. And it was like 4 feet of snow. Today, nearly 1.3 million Vietnamese live in the United States. We are the 6th largest foreign-born population in America. The story of my people is one of triumph. It is a story where our American brethren came to our aid. You granted us your men and your sons, and you fought alongside us against tyranny. And when we couldn't win, you opened your doors to us. You gave us sanctuary. You gave us a second chance. I think the refugee story in general is very important, especially today. I think it's the most American story in the world. I think that is what makes America, America. I think it was the premise that this country was built on. We Vietnamese are here. And as we give rise to the next generation, we deepen our roots in the rich, free soil. We benefit from the sacrifices our parents made had they chosen not to get on that boat. I think what they identify with is that patriotism that idea that America is a free country, a fantastic place to live, and we're going to do everything we can to get there. You know, that story is very universal among immigrants. Freedom, a birth-given right as necessary as drinkable water. My name is Peter Trin, and I am Denver.